Hello, lifers, and welcome to Because Life Can Be a Niche. So glad to see you here back in the living room with me once again. For those of you who are new to this show, welcome. And just come on in, have a seat. Let's have a family meeting. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about life over tea. We're going to pour and sip the tea and just get into it. And for those of you who are repeat offenders, welcome back to doing life with me. So with all of that said, you know how we started off with a tea of the week. And my tea of the week is peach passion. I'm from Georgia, so you got to have that Georgia peach in there. So the tea of the week is peach passion. It is delicious and it is so good, but cheers to that. And you guys already know, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, you know what I need you to do. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything. Just go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification so you know when I'm coming out with a new video. And just continue to just hang out and ride with us. So glad you're here. We couldn't do it without you. And we're grateful to each and every one of you. Follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Katie Bryant Writes. That's at Katie Bryant Writes. And check out the blog, Life Unfolding. You see the theme here is life. Because life can be a niche, and that is at katiebryantwrites.com. So with all of that said and all of that out of the way, let's get into the topic for today. And I have been thinking about this, and I was going to share it a long time ago, and then I said, well, I'll wait and we'll talk about it sometime later. And then I just thought, this is the perfect time, because we are most of us in the middle of summer, and those of us who have children, nieces, nephews, godkids, the stories and the shenanigans that they can be getting into. And one of those things that I've noticed as I've been spending more time with my kids especially is the difference in their personalities. I have two sons, and they are literally night and day. And I want to talk to y'all about my youngest kiddo, because if Relentless was a person, this kid would be the Relentless definition, his photo in the dictionary. And just talking about raising relentless kids and the benefits of it, the scariness of it, because they're so different. And I plan to talk about both of my children, because they really just have taught me so much. So I'm an only child, so I didn't have anything to witness other than my own quirky behavior. So seeing the siblings and the way they have defined their relationship, and then how they've developed, is just, sometimes it's just fascinating to watch. And so I had to share this story with you guys, because it is just, I'm still amazed. I don't know how it happened, but let me just set it up. So I have this relentless kid, and when I say relentless, you have no idea. He's a gamer, so he loves Fortnite and all of the, Spider-Man 3D, whatever, all of the games out there, he probably can play them or knows about them. And he has been on this gaming kick for quite some time, as I'm sure most kids are, especially now because they're home and they're not, we're just not out. We're not at the pool. We're not going places where it's just public, touching and bothering things. We're not. We're just sheltering in place. And so that, coupled with a kid who already likes to game, and you just have yourself, the perfect storm for what happens in this situation. And so he decided that he wanted to be a part of FaZeClan. And I'm gonna set this up so and then tell you a little bit of a backstory as to why this is such a big deal and why why I'm still amazed. So FaZeClan, for those of us who are over 40, it's like this gaming, like super mega gaming team that is, I mean, well known. Look them up if you haven't heard of them. Most of you have, because your kids are probably following FaZeClan members. And so, the whole big deal is to, I want to be in FaZeClan. Every kid, wants to be in FaZeClan, of course. And my son decided that he was going to be the youngest member of FaZeClan, because he did the research and he found out, I think maybe the youngest member might be 13 or something like that. I don't remember. But I do remember when he decided he was going to do this, because he's relentless. And watching him, how he moves, it's fun to watch, but it's also like a little bit like, are you for real? You really gonna do this? And he's just determined. And so he told me, he said, Mom, I'm gonna be in FaZeClan, and I'm gonna let him know that I'm gonna be the youngest member of FaZeClan. I'm like, that's like me saying, I'm gonna be on OWN. I'm gonna have my own show on OWN, and I just need to email Oprah and let her know that I'm coming to her network, and I'm gonna be on it. That's literally how, matter of fact, he said it. But that's the level of FaZeClan compared to someone who is not gaming for competition. He's not out there winning money, as far as I know. I don't know. For all I know, the kid is like sponsored by people. Who knows? Because he's relentless. And when he said it, as a parent, you encourage it. So I was like, oh, okay. All right, FaZe. Okay, then. Because I'm thinking, yeah, and I'm going to be on OWN. And so he walked off. Like, it's settled. That's what I'm going to do. And so this is how it started. So he came in, and this was right before he decided, how he was going to go about it. He was, eyeball hustling over my Instagram. And so as I'm scrolling and I'm liking a few things, he noticed that a new FaZeClan member in Atlanta, and I believe it's a collaboration or sponsorship, someone really famous, and I liked it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But I liked it because my sorority sister posted it, because it's her son. And so I saw it, and I was like, oh, wow, this is awesome. And so he saw it, and he said, wait a minute, Mama, how do you know? Why are you liking that? How do you know? That's FaZeClan. How do you know him? And I'm thinking, well, it's my sorority sister's son. That's how I know, and I said, I didn't realize this was FaZeClan or anything. I was just liking it because she posted it or whatever. He's in FaZeClan now, Mommy. He's in FaZe Atlanta. And so I'm like, oh, okay. Mommy, I want to be in FaZeClan. I know, son. Still, I'm not connecting the dots, but he is in his mind. He was 10 at the time. In his mind, he's thinking, someone whose son is now a part of FaZe Atlanta. So this is a phone call to get into FaZeClan. So he commences to selling me. He started pitching me on why I should be contacting my sorority sister. And I said, well, no, baby, no, I don't do that. I said, we're sorority sisters, and yes, I'm friends with her, but I'm not going to call her and tell her son, who's famous, to put you in FaZeClan. I don't even know how. I said, first of all, that's not how any of this works. That's not going to happen. So the kid decides that he is now going to Jedi mind trick me into shaming me about my commitment to my sorority. So then he starts, you're not a real sister. You're not in a real sorority. You're not a sister at all. You're nobody's auntie. And so let me tell you about the auntie situation. So I told both of my sons, as I'm an only child, I said, mommy wasn't born with siblings, but I have sisters, by choice, who God has blessed me with so many friends that are like sisters to me. And I said, so that's the same thing with my sorority sisters, my line sisters. And so I told them when they were little and they saw all these pictures of me when I pledged and stuff, and my line sisters, and they said, Mommy, who are all these people? And I said, those are your aunties. And I just left it at that because that was an easy way to explain it, because they always heard me calling them my sorority sisters or my line sisters. And they said, Mommy, you don't have any sisters. I said, well, I do. These are my sorority sisters. So immediately that he hung on to that, oh, those are your aunties. So now he thinks every Delta in the world is his auntie. No matter who they are, where they pledge. And I'm like, okay, because we are, we're sorority sisters. Okay, go with that. So when he saw that this is my sorority sister and she is the parent of someone he wants to meet and wants to get connected with, then he was like questioning my auntie. That's not, you're not an auntie. And so he started trying to shame me, trying to shame me into my Greekdom, calling me out. Didn't work. And I had to explain to him, son, there are boundaries. I know a lot of people who are famous. I know a lot of people who know people who are famous. But just because I know them, they're friends, I don't ask anyone for favors and do that kind of stuff, because there are boundaries. But a relentless 10-year-old does not accept that. That's crazy. That's my way in. That's crazy. So after a week of him literally taunting me, walking by my room, you're not a sorority, you're nobody's auntie. So literally for a week. And I ignored him. So he's gone, in his mind, he's already on plan B because he's relentless. And so he went to the websites and the pages and learned all this stuff, did all this research on all these FaZeClan members. And he got my phone and he said, Mommy, you need to follow these guys in FaZeClan. And I was like, why? I'm not a gamer. You just need to follow them. But see, I didn't know. He wanted me to follow them because he intended to later ask me to start DMing them to allow him to be in FaZeClan. And so I let it slide, because when you're busy, some things as a parent, I don't even question. If I'm in the middle of something, it's not something that's going to hurt you or cause you to maim yourself or maim your brother, I'm kind of like, okay, go ahead. Whatever it is you're talking about, go forth and flourish. So when he said, Mommy, follow them. So I did, on Twitter, on Instagram, and he's constantly looking at, what are they posting today? What are they doing? And so I'm thinking that's the gist of it, that's as far as it's gonna go. Well, it wasn't, because he's relentless and he's set on, forget the fact that you're in school, forget the fact that you are 5th grade and you have all these obligations for schoolwork and football or basketball, whatever he was doing at the time. He was being in FaZeClan was at the top of the list. It's like, okay. So he would go to their pages, and if they said, hey, we're doing this, or we're having this competition or whatever, he would click on it and say, Mommy, tell them I want to be, your son wants to be a member of FaZeClan. And I'm like, whatever, here. My son wants to be a member of FaZeClan. And I'm like, okay, let me move on to whatever I'm doing. So he did this, I don't know, maybe this went on maybe 2 months. And every day, every single day, he would come to me. First thing in the morning, first thing he would say is, good morning, Mommy. Have they called? Have they said anything? Did they reply to you yet? it was never like he came and asked, like, it might not happen. It was literally like, you know, I'm sure they're going to, I mean, in a moment now, you're going to have a message from them. Such expectancy. Like, it never occurred to him, how famous these people are and how busy they are and who they really are. Like, he knows how big this is, but in his mind, it was still within grasp. Like, it, you know, Mom, have you heard from FaZe Blaze? Have you heard from Jarvis? Have you heard from Apex? No, son, not today. Because I realized, you know, during this pandemic that I became a secretary to my children, or an admin, executive assistant, whatever you want to call it. That's what I was. So I was literally like taking messages, sending messages, whatever, take a note. Like, no, son, I have not. So he never got down. He never, you know, never walked away deflated. He would always say, well, what time is it? And I'm thinking, okay, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it's only 6 o'clock. They're in California. It's only 6 o'clock there. They're not up yet. They'll probably respond around 12 or 1 their time. Okay, son. I'll be on the lookout. The whole time I'm thinking, these folks are not going to respond to you. But, you know, I don't want to deflate him, because when you have a relentless kid who sets their mind on stuff and they go for it, and he does this with everything, not just this just happened to be the thing of the moment. You know, you encourage them. You know, I don't want you to have this false sense of what could happen, but I don't want to deflate your faith. So anyway, one day he came in, he was all on Twitter. He was on all the platforms at this point. Mom, have you seen anything? Did anybody respond to you? No. And he found, you know, this tweet, and he said, hey, Mom, reply, you know, my son, you know, my son wants to be a gamer. My son is also blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, fine, here. Okay. I wasn't even looking at what I was commenting on, because I'm like, all right, you know, because at this point, we're months in to this, you know, down the road of being relentless. And one day I was sitting in my room. I start my morning, I try to start my day. The first thing I do is prayer time. And I was in my room, and my kids know, like, when the door is closed to the office, then I'm probably in prayer time. They know on average how long I'm going to be in there. And they usually don't disturb me. Or if I'm outside on the patio, they know my prayer time. They'll see the Bible and stuff, so they'll see me. You know, they don't disturb me. And I don't try to hide from them that I'm praying. It's not like that. But when I close the door, it's because I'm either listening to, you know, praise and worship music, and I don't want to disturb the house, because you have to get up at the butt crack of dawn around here. They just have quiet time to even do that. And so the door was closed, and I was in there longer than normal, because, you know, sometimes as a parent you worry about your children. I know I do. I worry about, you know, how am I teaching them in terms of, you know, serving God in prayer time, you know, worshiping and in faith. And so I was literally sitting there talking to God about, you know, help me to make sure, you know, help me to lead them to you and to show them how to pray, but to develop their own relationship with you, and, you know, not say, Mommy, pray for me on such and such. You know, so I was literally sitting in there talking about that with God. And then Mr. Relentless comes in. I mean, he just burst through the door. Like, and I'm like, okay, normally you don't even do that. But, okay, he came in, he closed the door. He said, oh, Mama, are you praying? I said, yes. But, you know, come on in. I'm almost finished. And I said, do you want to pray with me? And he said, yeah, I do. I said, oh. Okay. I said, you don't have to say it out loud. Whatever it is you want to, you know, pray about, by all means, you know. And he said, I want to pray about being in FaZeClan. and nothing's happened yet, and they haven't called me, and I'm ready to be in FaZeClan. And so I was like, okay. I said, let me tell you something. I'm thinking this is a perfect opportunity for me to jump in here. And I said, we pray for things to happen. We pray for God to make magic, to move things, to our faith should be able, you should be able to go to God with anything. So ask, but just know that God is not a genie, and you can't just rub the magic lamp and then it's going to appear. Some things, sometimes the answer is no, sometimes the answer is not yet, and sometimes the answer is a long time coming. So, I don't want you to think like as soon as you ask for something, God is going to do it. He said, oh, Mom, I know that. The pastor taught us that, I read that before. I'm like, I'm just reiterating, because I don't want you to come in here and ask for, these things and then not happen. I said, and then sometimes things happen just like that. Like you literally ask for it, and like within an hour, it's there. It's right there. I said, and that's just grace and just a super blessing. But it doesn't happen all the time. But, just go ahead and say your prayer sign. So he said his prayer, whatever. I knew what he was praying about. And I told him, I said, I pray that the God answers your prayer. But God answered my prayer, because that was literally what I was asking him. Like, their walk. I want my kids to develop their relationship and their walk and their talk. So I'm like, oh, thank you, God. That was perfect that he even came in here, because normally they wouldn't. And so this was an opportunity. I'm thinking, oh, this is great. And so this was early that morning. It was like maybe 6:45. This is how early he gets. He hits the floor early. Relentless. I mean, just whatever is on, he's ready to tackle the day first thing. He's not going to sleep in. He's on the floor hustling. Whatever. Doing whatever. And so around, I don't know, maybe, I'm trying to remember what time it was. Maybe 7 that night. Maybe even 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm just looking, through my social media channels, and I see a message on Twitter. And look, first of all, I have a Twitter account. I'm on Twitter because I like seeing other people's tweets. I don't really tweet that much. I'll tweet occasionally. I have to really remind myself to tweet something. I'm more of Instagram and Facebook. And I was looking, and it was a direct message. Y'all not gonna believe this. A direct message from FaZe Apex of FaZeClan. And I'm like, and it was him, because it was verified, the chat. And I was like, oh my God. He replied to my random, okay, son, here. He replied to it and said, I can't promise anything about being a part of FaZeClan, but I would like to play with your son. I'd like to play a game with your son. Fortnite. I was like, oh my goodness. Because I'm like, darn, this dude I need to give him my prayer list. This dude just went down, and he literally just went and sat down in the chair with me that morning and during my prayer time, and made it our prayer time. And literally, here it was, just like that. After he prayed, it was right there. FaZe Apex said, I would like to set it up. And I'm thinking, sure, great. I'm nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. I tell him, and he is just like, he said, yeah. He said it was after. He said, yeah, I told you they had to get up, because they're in California. Never did it occur to him that it might never happen his level of expectancy was just so much like, oh, I knew it. He never wavered in knowing that it was going to happen. And I was looking at him like, it's FaZe Apex. You know who this is, right? He's like, yes, mommy. And he's like, but he was pensive though. Didn't really want to like jinx it, I guess. I don't know what but he was real calm, like more calm than I thought he would be. I thought he was going to run through this house and do some kind of Fortnite, whatever it is they do, these dances. That Joker was sitting there like, like, the time difference is, just calm. And why this is so amazing is let me just share with you this background story. So this kid is relentless, but he's also super shy. There are some teachers in elementary school who have taught him, probably never heard his voice because he is so shy. And that was something I've been like praying over him about, because it takes him a very long time to warm up and to feel comfortable, especially in crowds. And then here we are, he is decided he wants to play football, which was a shocker, because that's like, okay, people are going to be watching you. Yeah, I know, Mom. Because he's so shy, and he's so quiet, but he's coming out of his shell in his own way. And so he signs up for basketball, even though his brother didn't want to play. He's like, I'm playing anyway without him. I'm thinking, okay. So slowly he's coming out of the shell, but so shy that I was like, you realize that however this works, and you play a game with FaZe Apex, this is a lot of people, because he has a huge following. FaZeClan has a huge following. There will be a lot of people. And he's like, I know. And so I'm already like grateful for that aspect, because he's coming out of his shell and coming out of that shyness and that anxiety of dealing with large crowds and people staring at him. And I'm seeing it slowly over time. And then to see this come along, I'm like, you sure? Oh yeah, Mom, I'm cool. And he really was cool. And so that's a whole nother parent like hurdle, like, I guess in his own time. That's why you can't really rush kids, because every kid is so different. My oldest kid is super chatterbox, meets no stranger, talks to anyone about anything and everything under the sun. And then you have this kid who's so shy that you may see him and it will literally take him months to warm up to you, even though and he'll come home and be a chatterbox and just chat all day. But in school, the teacher's like, he's so quiet. And I'm like, okay, he's a comedian at home. It's just, but everybody's different in how they deal. And so I guess I have an extroverted introvert in him. But anyway, so I'm thinking, all this, you're coming out of your shell, you're growing, but your faith and and the first thing he said to me was, Mommy, God answered my prayer. And I said, yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, he did. And he said, I didn't think he would answer me that fast. And I said, me either. I'm still shocked. I'm still surprised. And I was so happy, because I saw him take something to God on his own. And it worked out beautifully because it was answered. But I also believe that he knew that there was a possibility that it may never be answered, and he was cool with that too. But anyway, back to the whole FaZe Apex video game thing. So, he ended up, I think the video may still be on YouTube, and it has like, oh my God, hundreds of thousands of views. I don't even know. I haven't seen like the latest number of views on it, but we finally got it worked out. We went through a lot of, back and forth of equipment and whether or not you have the right sign in or log in, because whatever these kids are doing. And then the kid is is on the phone or on the game with FaZe Apex, and they are talking. Nicest guy, so nice and so good with kids, and just and they're gaming, and I'm like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. First of all, Charlie, you're too young to be in FaZeClan. Secondly, this is not even a tryout. This is just Apex being really nice and really cool and playing with you. And they did the whole team thing, and then they did the 1v1. And my son was actually bold enough, because he's relentless, to ask, so am I gonna make it in FaZeClan, or can I try out? Something he said. I don't know what it was. It was hilarious, because I'm like, he's bold. And so anyway, they played, and it was all recorded, and it's on video, and it's released on YouTube. And I'm looking at this kid like he never doubted it, because he's Mr. Relentless. Not once did this dude doubt that he was going to, some kind of way, get into FaZeClan in some form, on the platform of FaZeClan in some form or fashion. And he was happy to have just been able to play with Apex. But he's even still saying to this day, you know, I'm working on my gaming career because I'm going to be in FaZeClan. I don't doubt him anymore. For all I know, he's in FaZeClan now. I don't know what's going on. But it just amazed me, because, and this is how God works. So the whole irony of all of this, and I think it's even mentioned in the YouTube video that FaZe Apex did, is that the tweet that this kid pulled up for me to ask, could he be in FaZeClan, was 5 years old. 5 years old. So, first of all, the chances of FaZe Apex even looking at his Twitter page and looking at my message to a tweet that he literally posted 5 years ago. Like I said, I never paid attention to the post that my son was asking me to ask, could he be in FaZeClan on. I just did it blindly and just said, okay, here, and moved on. 5 years. And I thought about that, how that was nothing but a setup for a lesson for us, for my kid, just how God can use something old and make something new, first of all. Because 5 years, a 5-year-old tweet, I don't even know what my tweets from 5 years ago said, if I even put anything. I might not even done anything, but to go back, for Apex to go back and say, because they did say, you know, you want to be a member of FaZeClan. I don't even think my son noticed that it was a 5-year-old tweet, and I definitely didn't. And then for him to come in that morning for prayer time, and to get it and to understand it and say, yep, I get it. I know what I have to do. I know how I have to pray. And then to pray, and then literally that evening that happens, and it's like in a matter of days, you are playing with, you know, one of the greatest gamers, you know, in the business. I think I'm still amazed at how it was, and I look at how he never wavered, how his relentless attitude never wavered, and he does it with everything. Fundraising for the school, he's like an extortionist. He literally hounds everybody in the family until they have given the amount of money that he's satisfied with. If you've given him $25 and he feels like you didn't give enough or you could have given more, he literally calls you or texts you and says, don't you want to up your contribution? He's relentless. And And it's his childlike faith. I hope he never loses it. I hope he never loses this relentless attitude and this go-getter, like, and the positive force behind it, because it never occurred to him, like, I'm just a kid here in Georgia. There's no way anybody from FaZeClan is going to reach out to me. Because that would have been my thought, like, it's a shot in the dark, but, well, we'll see. No, not at all. Every single day he said, have they contacted you yet? Like, because it's coming. Because I know they're going to contact you, because I'm Charlie, and I'm going to be in FaZeClan. So, I mean, you shame me with my sorority sister. You shame me into trying to make me think I'm not even a good sorority sister out here. That didn't work. So then you move on to, we're just going to start, tweeting, Mama, you need to start responding, telling these people you got a son who wants to play. And it never wavered. And it's the same thing even with his schoolwork. Like, once he gets his mindset on it, like, I'm going to read all of my books for my reading goal, and I'm going to do it in half the time. And he's literally going for it. And that just amazed me. That's my story. And I thought about, like, if we all did that, if we all had relentless passion and unwavering faith like this kiddo, and I know children have, there's about childlike faith. I know children believe, but this kid, it was just like, lady, you're the one who's, check my messages, check. Did you check and see, have they called me yet? And I just, if we all did that, man, if we had that kind of relentless attitude, the positive attitude of expectancy, I know this is coming. I know it's going to happen. And then praying and giving it to God. He literally prayed about it, left it there. He didn't mention it anymore that day. And then that evening, here's this message to a 5-year-old tweet. My relentless baby. Anybody looking for someone to work for collections, somebody owes you something, then you need to hound someone, there's my relentless son is available. He will do it for you, because he will make it happen. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And I want to nurture it, but I want to temper it with, just understand how things really work. This was a super duper extravagant blessing that God just said, boop, boom, here it is for you. But, just know that sometimes God is not yet, sometimes God is no, because he's always, I've got something better. And I don't know, I'm still amazed. I'm still shocked at how it all unfolded, because there was so many pieces moving with that. And I just take that and just use that in my own life. Like, it was a lot of things I'm working on right now and things that I've been working on. And I'm like, well, shoot, I just need a little bit of what my baby has, because he obviously, so I write it down and put it to the side, pray about it, and move on. Like, oh, it's coming. Oh, I know I'm going to get that call. I'm like, it worked for him. He did it. But, anyone raising a relentless kid, or just determined, and you're just amazed at how they just have this positive attitude, unwavering, just like, or just go-getter. I mean, dogged determination. I want to hear your story. Share with me. I really want to know what your child has done, or what you witnessed, your godchild or your niece or nephew. Tell me where you've experienced that, where you've seen relentless just run amok, but in their favor, and how it worked out and what happened with that. But if you're raising a relentless kid, just encourage, keep them as positive and on that higher level as you possibly can. this experience for this child and his development it's a lifetime thing. He'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. It's a testimony. It's so many things all rolled into one, y'all. A 5-year-old tweet. Anyway, you all, just thank you so much for joining and for listening and coming in the living room, just chatting about raising children, raising relentless kids, and how we nurture them and keep them going, but keep them balanced at the same time. It's a slippery slope. It's a tightrope, really. And I'm just navigating it day by day and praying over it and keeping it moving. But, just share your thoughts. Get in the comments. As always, please follow on social media at Katie Bryant Writes. Get in the blog Life Unfolding, KatieBryantWrites.com. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is free. It doesn't cost you anything. Come on, I know you want to do it. Go ahead and click that subscribe button and hang out with me in the living room. Remember to enjoy the tea. It's peach tea. So good. You don't even need any sugar. I usually I tell you guys about the amber rock sugar. With peach tea, flavored tea like that, you really don't even need any. You just do it with hot water and boom, you're good to go. Thank you all so much for riding with me today and for just sharing your thoughts and your wisdom. I appreciate your comments. I'd love to hear from you whenever you send ideas in the inbox. Thank you. Keep them coming. Tell me what you want to talk about. We talk about everything on this show. So there's nothing that's off limits when it comes to parenting, co-parenting, life after divorce, relationships, faith, love, children, whatever. We're all in. So with that being said, please be good to yourselves and be good to each other, and I will see you when I see you.